back. You're watching Nasdaq Live. I'm Davina Gupta. Well, now it's time to talk about the implications of European Union summit after the decisions were taken last week. Is the glass half full or half empty? My colleague Namrata Barar caught up with Ketu Sakpara, Director of Research EQC Funds at Nasdaq in New York. Let's dip into this conversation.
Ketal, first thing is that the market still believes the glass is half full in a certain sense. Ever since the Friday summit of the EU, there's this general perception that no matter what nasty data we get, including yesterday's manufacturing, we're still looking stronger than we were before.
Yes, I think there were two things in play. One is an immediate or chaotic outcome from Europe, which kind of got suppressed after the EU summit that we had last week. The problem isn't solved, but we don't see any major moves, at least in the next 1 or 2 weeks. The interest rate yields, the yields for Spain and Italy haven't been rising drastically. In fact, they fell a lot after the EU summit. So that was one thing that calmed down the market. The other thing is that these days the market has a tendency to take bad news as an indication that more ECB help or central bank, the Fed help from the United States is on the way to help support the situation. So it's a situation where you're kind of building in the bad news and expecting the central banks to help you out.
And that's visible in the way risk assets are behaving today. I mean, you've got oil, which is going up. You've got movement happening in gold as well, with the expectation that there will be central bank easing. But on the other hand, you have relatively good data from factory sales here in the US, which again cushions the expectation.
Yes, absolutely. So we are in this phase where we are getting a lot of mixed signals. And obviously, Europe is a political situation which is very difficult to analyze and estimate. It's more of a political analyst job rather than the financial markets. So I think given that and the slow, the low volume in the US markets that we see this week, you put all of that together and you can see why the markets move from one end to the other without any clear direction this week.
But to your mind, do you believe quantitative easing is on the table or is not on the table right now?
Quantitative easing, so from a US perspective, the Fed operates on two well-directed mandates, which is one is to have reasonable job growth or reduce the unemployment, and two is manage inflation in the US economy. So those are the two main things. And the third unspoken one that it operates on is supporting the markets. The first one, which is inflation, I think the Fed is pretty much around where it wants to be. So from an inflation perspective, there is no need to go in for another round of QE. The second one, unemployment. Unemployment in the 8% range is bad, but it's not so bad that you need to go for a third level of QE. We have already done with 2. So from those two perspectives, it doesn't seem like they need to. But the unspoken one, which we always know, and given the history of the Fed in the last 5 years, the Fed has always come up and supported the market when it needs, and the markets have built in this expectations, as we know. So but that doesn't depend on the US economy. I think that depends, the market levels right now, they depend more on what happens in the global economy, which is close to what happens in Europe. About 15 to 20% of S&P earnings come from Europe. So if the S&P goes below 1200 level, that is where I think the probability of Fed action coming in increases drastically. As long as the S&P is above 1200, I think the probability is low. For the same reasons. One is the Fed, when it does make a move, it wants to make sure that it's absolutely necessary so that it has the impact. Now, if it makes a move right now, the market will quickly discount it as already priced in, and the move that will not be big. It will get a 2% bump in the market, but it doesn't make an impact to the type of announcement that you are, QE3 type of announcement. So if the Fed, as and when it does make the announcement, one, it wants to move the market, and two, it's desperately trying to calm down the markets. Right now, you don't see either one of them. So.
Right, and fourth, many would joke and say, Ketul, is the unspoken political support fed with Obama's government, but we'll not talk about that.
Absolutely.
But the point that you make is interesting. The fact that this market now is dependent more on the EU news than it is on relative domestic QE at this point in time. Do you feel that the EU summit was an inflection point, the fact that Merkel softened her stance, something at least came out by way of headline when the market didn't expect more, and we've seen yields come down in these markets quite drastically?
Yes, absolutely. The summit came up with 2 important outcomes, right? The first one is that the countries that need debt, they are, you know, strong on their commitment that they don't want to go through a lot of pain before getting the help. So they stuck to their agenda. They maintained that they want to negotiate based on these terms, because Greece alone did not have that power. Greece could not do it. Now it has more support from Spain, Italy. So that was one major thing, which builds up a good platform for further negotiation. And the second thing was that Merkel softened up. Another point was that the German parliament passed two important bills last week. One of them which supported ESM, the other one was non-material. But the most important one was that it supports the ESM. And it was passed with a huge majority, so there wasn't a lot of you know, discussions about whether they should do it, they should not do it. So those were the things which kind of built confidence that, okay, given enough time, there might be an eventual resolution. Now we don't know which way the resolution will be, but there is a chance, which didn't seem like till the last summit. Till up to the last summit, Germany was absolutely adamant. They didn't want to give up anything. And Greece was not in a position of any negotiation.
Now, it's difficult to predict politics, like you said, but it is, well, it seems difficult to predict even ECB's moves in terms of economics right now. We do expect a 25 bips rate cut going on Thursday, with a possible announcement of a new LTRO enhancement as well. Do you believe this is going to be enough to support the markets?
As of now, yes. I mean, if they come up with 25 basis points, a rate cut is almost like kind of built into the market. So if they want to support the markets even higher, they have to go close to 50 basis points. Now, that would be a true indication that they are doing it, they are ahead of the curve. They are not just following the markets. LTRO, certainly it helps in the short term. And as we discussed, this is a political mess. So to go through that political mess, it takes time. And LTRO is a bridge to get there. Now, how long the bridge lasts, we don't know. It can last for 1 month, it can last for 2 months, it can last for 6 months, based on, you know, how the markets react. But that bridge is very important, because otherwise you will never get a chance to a political solution to Europe. So I think there is a high probability that they'll come up definitely with a rate cut, and to a certain extent LTRO too.
But that brings me to India as well, where over the last couple of days we've seen a re-emergence of flows finally. The rupee touched a 1.5-month high. Right. It's been up 4 straight days on a trot. Is this because of, again, hopes of global central bank easing, or is it genuine hope that Manmohan Singh is turning around India back on the growth track?
I think in the short term, I don't think the market is betting on a global growth, you know, revamp. So we don't expect major growth. So such short-term moves probably are not related to an expectation that the Indian economy or the emerging market economies are going to grow significantly faster. But you're right. I mean, they have started easing their interest rate environments, emerging markets around the world, China, India, Brazil, all of them, even Australia. They have started reducing the interest rates to boost the economies. But that takes time. It takes around 9 months to 1 year for that to come into play, or that to affect the economy significantly. And we are not in that stage as yet. We are in the first round, the first 6 months. So I think 1 year from now, that will certainly help. But in the short term, that probably is not the reason why they are you know, moving up. Some of the reasons why they move up is just the risk on trade, because the Europe situation stabilizing a little bit, they could move on a little bit. On the reform side, I think India is in a difficult situation right now.